Second. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to one of our evening Brooklyn and Family Support Service Advisory Council and the Brooklyn Developmental Disability Council. I'm Christopher D. Wright. On both hats, I'm the Vice Chair of the Brooklyn DD Council and the Corresponding Secretary of the Brooklyn Advisory Council. Welcome to the evening meeting. First, before I do anything, Deborah Wright, Chair of the Brooklyn Advisory Council.
Good evening, everyone. This is Deborah Greif, welcoming everyone.
And we do have Joyce Levin. Joyce?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. And as you see that we're doing a night moment, so you see the night Brooklyn Bridge and the night red, white, and blue parachute. Just took the picture yesterday. Before we do anything, let's make this very easy for everyone. Once again, today is, it's 8831, so we wish everyone a happy 8831, as Monday is the day when it was signed into law.
By then President Bush.
By President Bush, yes.
Senior.
So let me start with the housekeeping rules as we do celebrate, just to remind everyone. Everyone should be on mute except Joyce Levin and Deborah Greif. And when the speaker is speaking, that will be the time he'll be doing his presentation. We want to make sure everyone's listening and make sure you write down all the information. So the main thing is we are starting up right now with the main thing. As a reminder, everyone, every computer, tablet, and phone must be on mute. Now, remind everyone on the computer and or tablet, just to remind you, order systems, which is the bottom, is your left thing is the microphone. You can press the mute or unmute. Please make sure that when you're going to be raising your hand, please make sure you unmute yourself so we can hear you clearly. The phone people, I will get back to you in just a minute. The next thing is you have a video camera. As some people are coming on right now, the camera is your choice if you're going to want it on or off. The choice is yours. There is nothing to hide in the meeting. It is your choice if you want it on or off. So, and just to remind everyone, as you see the panel button in the middle, which it has a number, because just remember the numbers do change very much, and as well as it's called a panel. Once you click on that, you will see a hand. Please raise that hand if you have a question. It is very important. Or you can go into the chat box and type in your question. Right now, the chat is not open at this time because it's not time for announcements. And we remind you, please hold on to all your announcements. Once you see the sign says you can now put your announcements in. At this present time, we are only going to accept the questions for our speaker tonight so we can make sure we can keep the meeting in order and try to finish early or on time the best we can. So that is one major point thing we ask you guys to please let's follow through and we can move on quickly. Now, the phone people who are on, we have a couple of people on the phone. Please remind yourself, if you have a question, please press *9 to raise your hand. The host will see, you will hear a voice that says the host will see it, and it will see the hand up. As a reminder also, the hand is a very important piece. *6 on your phone pad, you press *6 for mute, and again *6 to unmute. Either way, it will still make sure that your microphone is off or on. And then once it's on, you can hear yourself. And I remind you, I will see that hand there. So you will hear that little means I will hear it. Now, before we do anything, we do like to remind that, as you know, we have lost some more individuals due to COVID or other illness. We're asking for a few minutes of silence at this time. So please, everyone, let's have a few minutes of silence. Thank you, everyone. Now, on one order of business is the minutes. I need to make a motion to waive the minutes. So I need someone to, Joyce?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, and I need someone else to second it. Guys, I need someone to second the waive of the minutes, please.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Ann.
Chris, I'll second it.
I said thank you.
I'll second it.
I said thank you. Okay, now let me just move on to the, okay, now that's done. And just remind you, the recording minutes are always available on the Advisory Council's website, or just get on the website. You will see it on our minutes where the meetings are. So I thank you, anyone. Now, let me move on. Now, okay, let's move on to our speaker. Is Michael still with me? Because I know every time I get... Is our police all, I know I just saw him. Hope we didn't lose him. Is Officer Michael, and I can't say his last name, so forgive me. Is he on? I know he's on.
Chris, I see him and I'm not sure he can hear us.
I know, I heard him.
He's speaking, but we can't hear him.
Yeah. We can't hear you.
I think he's going to call in. Okay.
Okay, if he calls in, he can keep his camera on. And then just reminded everyone, and I'll give him just a second to get on. As you may aware that years ago, and Joyce knows this too, many years ago, we did have a division of disability service. Well, that time was a different name, which it's very hard to remember. It was like almost 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Now the One Police Plaza now has a disability service factory that helps people with disabilities. Michael is going to be speaking and giving us some great information. We're just waiting for him to get on to dial in on the phone and keep the camera on, so therefore he can see and we can give him a chance to give a great presentation on this information. This will help everyone in the whole boroughs. He does come out of One Police Plaza. This is one of the grand opportunities that we're getting a chance on this. So we're just going to give him just a minute just to call in at the same time. Joyce, oh, here we go. As I said again, everyone who just came in, good evening. Welcome to the evening joint meeting. We're just giving a chance for Officer Michael, which I know he's trying to use his microphone, but the problem is we cannot hear him. I don't know if his microphone is plugged in or the volume is up. I have no clue. If he can keep his, let me just send him a little message from chat. I can do that. Joyce, you want to give your report so I can fix my Officer Michael? Oh, wait a minute.
Sure, Chris.
Yeah, just yeah.
Was he able to come on?
I'm checking that right now.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, I think I should be on if everybody can hear me.
Yes, we could.
Okay, great. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but thank you for having me.
Not a problem. We still got you.
So I couldn't hear what you were just saying, but in case it wasn't said yet, I'm the Disability Service Facilitator for the NYPD. I'm also the ADA coordinator. And my name is Mike Malachowski. And before anything else, I just wanted to give out my email in case you have questions after this meeting. My email is actually, it's just michael.malachowski, and I think you should see it right in front of you, at nypd.org. And my phone number is 646-610-5330. And again, thank you for having me join this meeting. I've been in this position now for a little over 18 months, almost 2 years. During that time, I think we've had obviously a lot of difficulties between COVID. So a lot of initiatives that we want to get started and get moving with obviously have been slow to come out primarily because of that. But the biggest thing that I can do in my job is listen. Every time I attend one of these meetings or I meet with anybody from the public, we're made aware of things that, obviously we wouldn't think of on our own. I can't improve our system if I'm not aware of something. So because we're not doing something, because we're simply not addressing an issue, isn't necessarily because we know it and we're trying to avoid it. If we're made aware of things, if we're educated, that's how we can address things. So that's why I try to come to as many of these meetings. I try to interact with as many people as I possibly can. It's the best way for me to know what needs to be fixed or what areas we can improve on. And I will say that during this presentation or just during this talk, which is really just meant to really introduce myself to you and for me to get to know you, raise your hand and ask a question. I'd really rather respond to questions than just drone on and on and on. I'm one of the few attorneys I think doesn't like to hear myself speak. So please ask questions if you can. I think the biggest thing that I can pass on right now, if you talk about the NYPD's efforts, especially in relation to ADA, is what we're calling Accessible NYPD. Accessible NYPD was rolled out a few years ago, and it really encompasses the department's efforts throughout the entire city to become as ADA accessible as we possibly can. And to do that, and along those efforts, it's really a 5-year plan, which we just updated and we're about to post online later this week. Gives you an idea of what we're doing, where we are, and where we still have to address some things, especially in accordance with the plan. We were set back a little bit by COVID, but we are back now and doing what we can do, especially in the tight budget environment. But I feel like we are making incredible progress. Originally in the plan, we identified 16 what we call hub sites. Throughout the city, we wanted to create places where that were fully ADA accessible for members of the public. Those places we try to spread out throughout the city. We identified areas that needed to be fixed. That needed to be addressed immediately. Aside from those 16 hub sites, we also addressed another 30 sites in the past 6 months where we wanted to create, while we didn't have enough money to make them fully ADA accessible or ran into other issues, especially with the buildings that we're working in, that may be historical sites or just impractical to update. We wanted to find another 30 areas that we could make as ADA accessible as we possibly could, and with the goal really of being, regardless of where you are in the city, there is access to one of these hub sites. So that are fully ADA accessible, so you can receive all the services from any other building that you would normally get. To do that, we had every precinct within our control, all 77 precincts, reviewed by our architects, who reviewed every aspect of the command. And to be fully compliant with ADA, we wanted to know exactly what needed to be done and how much it would cost and the length of time that would require to do. I'm happy to say that every borough now has a fully ADA accessible hub site within its command. That was one of the items that we were concerned about. The accessible NYPD plan really encompasses much more. It encompasses training programs that we are revamping to make officers aware of not just the services that we have, but how we can better serve the public. We came up with certain apps to this end that we think are going to help our officers interact with the deaf and hard of hearing community. We now have a translator on everybody's cell phone that they carry around with them wherever they are, that they can interact with someone who may be deaf or hard of hearing. We handed out Braille business cards for people to hand out. So if they are dealing with someone who may be, obviously a sight impairment, so they understand who they're dealing with. But again, through these interactions, we're really learning some things that we didn't know. What's important to some of the disability communities. Over the last summer, we reached out to 20 different disability organizations to see what their primary concerns were. Along these lines, the one common theme that every disability group had within their ranks was concerns about domestic violence, and that it was a growing issue. Domestic violence, interactions with the police, with police not understanding how some of the disability communities work or how they can interact with them maybe better. As an example, if someone who is deaf or hard of hearing is handcuffed, their ability to communicate is obviously limited, especially if they're handcuffed behind their back. These are the type of issues that we wanted to bring out, that we wanted to address in our training, so that we can make our officers better aware and be able to serve our public even better. The 5-year plan that as we said, was put off because of COVID, but like I said, now we are back on track. We are trying to move forward, but as we're moving forward to make all the boroughs fully ADA accessible, we really want to still collect information from the public to see where those gaps may be, whether it's something that we can address in our training, whether it's something that we can address with our buildings, or just a service that we've neglected that we can try to improve. But with that, and that's really the purpose of me being here, is to really listen and to hear from members of the public what else we can be doing, what else we should be doing. With that, I just want to ask, are there any questions so far? I'm sure someone must have.
Yes.
Maybe it'd be best we hold on until you finish, because there was one thing I did ask you to mention about August 3rd. That's coming up too.
National
With-
Night.
National Night Out Against.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Okay.
Can you hear me right now? Can you hear me now?
I cannot. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Can anyone else hear me? Because I'm seeing I'm having a little issue.
I hear you, Chris.
Chris, I hear you.
I hear you, Chris.
Thank you. At least I know I'm not losing my earrings today.
Okay. Can you hear me? Officer Milo Kowalski. I'm gonna call you Officer Michael.
I hear you, Debbie.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Officer,
sorry, I can't.
I don't know. Can you hear me? Because I'm on.
I can hear Officer Mike.
Yeah, I know.
We all can hear you,
all-
Officer Mike, but you can't hear me.
Hey, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
I can.
I need to keep one mic on.
It's just-
Thank you, Matthew. Sorry. Repeat that again.
Officer
I'm
Mike.
sorry, it's broken up. It's broken up. I'm just having issues.
Okay, I'm just gonna.
I-
Can you see the screen I just moved in?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. Obviously, our community partnership division is on August 3rd. We encourage everybody to go to their local precinct to find out more information But this is one of the best ways, I said, that we're trying to interact and get more information from the public. I think that in the period that I've been here and I've been doing this job, I think there's an assumption, like I said, that people may not understand or assume that there are things that we don't want to do, or assume that we know everything about how to interact with the public. We don't know what we don't know. The best way for us to learn is to interact with the public, interact with the civilians, and really collect as much information as we can. If you see a deficiency with the way that the NYPD operates, or you just want to get to know your local police officers, I really encourage you to go on August 3rd, to reach out to your local precinct and find out where the National Night Out for the details of that. And I see the link on the website as well. Did I cover everything you wanted to on the night out?
Yes. Yes.
That I could hear.
Okay, can you hear me, Officer Mike?
I can.
Okay, hi, it's
Okay.
Deborah Gray.
Yeah.
All right. No, this is part of
right,
National
all right.
Night Out.
Go ahead.
Officer Mike, as a retired council president, NYPD does not advertise precinct council meetings and also the neighborhood community, or known as NCOs. By not
Okay.
doing that, people don't know where it's a safe way to talk to, and a safe way to talk to the commander and the community affair officers or a safety officer, because it's civilians. The council is run by civilians. Yes, we do follow rules of the what the New York One Police Plaza tells us, but at the same time, not many people understand what precinct councils or these NCOs, and if you advertise them better, I'm not saying things would be perfect, but they'd be more understanding.
Okay.
Can you?
No, thank you. I will take that back to community partnerships. Absolutely.
And can you explain to people what is a precinct council
And an NCO.
and what is an NCO? Because I've explained, but I think it come out better from you. Thank you.
I do not work as an NCO. I'm the director of our EEOD division.
Then you,
So I don't want to give out information that I don't know to be accurate and correct. I will say this: I know our community partnerships at the NCOs, their goal and their mission is, like I said, to make people feel like a part of the police community. I think a lot of people view the police department as a separate entity, as someone that they may have to fear, or someone that doesn't really represent them. And I think the more that we interact with people, make them understand the needs of not just the department, but really the needs of the community, which is really what we're meant to serve. I think that's the best way to do. And I think these programs, like I said, the NCOs, I know, are really pushing this so that they can have better relationships with the public.
okay, one thing, please, explain what NCO, neighborhood community officers, because when you see, if I say our acronyms, you may not catch on to it. I understand it, but the rest, so can you please just say what a difference is? You have the basic knowledge of what's the difference between the NCO and a precinct community council. That's a basic explanation that this council needs to know. Thank you.
Councils.
Councils, it's two councils, okay? Thank you.
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear the last
right.
part of that.
Okay, please explain what an NCO is, but not with the acronym. Do you know what they are?
Neighborhood community. It's a neighborhood community officer.
Yes.
Yes. The neighborhood community officers, like I said, that their mission really is to understand and build better relationships with the neighborhoods in which the precincts are operating. But they're meant to coordinate programs. That's why things like the National Night Out, basketball programs that I've seen them do. a lot of other programs, but it really meant to be a conduit for the public to speak with the precincts. But again, that's not my specialty. That's not an area I work in. I work with them just in certain specific occasions like this, where, you know, we're going to do a function and we need their assistance to facilitate it. But I really don't work with the NCOs on a daily basis, and I don't want to spread information that, like I said, is not accurate.
No, you did actually give the accurate description.
Okay.
Just that the precinct councils it's civilians who run the council for all the precincts. And that also includes the housing, but you don't have a precinct council for transit. So they come into different councils that are in their district.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I'm trying to get people to go and be members of it.
Okay. No, it's great. And the more people are involved, the better services that I think you'd get from the local precincts.
Joyce Levin, Chair of the DD Council, do you have a question for the officer? This may be a good time for you to pop in.
No, I appreciate the presentation and, you know, the information. Thank you.
Okay, I see we have a hand up. Sandy, go ahead. Sandy Neighbor, you can unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hi.
I'd
Hi.
like to ask the officer, what is a hub site and what services do they provide?
So thank you for the question. I went through that really quickly because it's a 26-page document that, you know, I'm trying to condense in a obviously a quicker fashion. Hub sites are fully ADA accessible. So there were previous situations where if someone was arrested, and just as an example, if they used a wheelchair, not all the precincts could, you know, provide enough room in the hallways for a wheelchair. They may not have had the proper bathroom facilities for someone who needed to use a fully ADA accessible bathroom. You know, what about the cell in which they were in? Where were they going to be searched? There were a number of items where we thought, like, hey, this is not practical. We're not serving the public that way. Everybody should have the same access. Even going a step further, if you're the victim of a crime, if you want to come to the precinct to talk to an officer, if you have, you know, if you're deaf or hard of hearing, ways to communicate with the officer. Again, if you're in a wheelchair and you can't access all the rooms of the precinct, how are you going to do that? There are very practical things that just needed to be done, where the ramps are, where the elevators were. We really had to take a hard look at where our deficiencies were. A hub site is considered fully ADA accessible, where anybody can access all the services available to anybody, to any member of the public, which is really our goal. Does that answer your question, or were you looking for something else?
Sandy,
Sandy,
do you have it? Did that answer your question, or you have?
Not exactly. I want to know what the hub sites, what services do they provide? I'm not sure what services we're talking about.
Services, so to make the equal access available to any member of the public. So if a member of the public has to go to a precinct for whatever reason, whether it's to file a complaint, whether it's, you know, on the opposite end, whether if they're being arrested, that the ADA accessible sites can provide any services that would otherwise be afforded to any other member of the public.
Okay, and then I have one other question.
Sure.
Do you have any kind of outreach for people with developmental disabilities, not only physical?
One of the issues that I think one of the major issues I think in this area that we're looking to address now, along those lines, involves training. so officers understand and can assess the situation in which they're operating in. As an example, a child with autism is going to react very differently than a child, obviously, without autism, but that has practical effects. If someone is not listening to an officer or reacting in a different manner, the officer may identify that as a threat when it's not a threat. They need to have the techniques to learn how to interact with the child, how to calm the child down if possible, but to really understand the situation that they're dealing with, so it doesn't, devolve into something much, much worse, because that the issue wasn't identified early on. So I think when we talk about outreach, it's really about training officers to understand the situations in they're dealing with. Another example, I think, would be going back to wheelchair accessibility. It wasn't, I think, too long ago where if someone had to go with an officer, whether it was being arrested or whether someone was a victim and had to travel with a police officer, and they were confined to a wheelchair, there was no means of carrying the wheelchair with the person. If they went into a patrol car, the person could go, but the wheelchair was left for either someone to come back and get, or whether they could call it a van to come and pick it up, but it created all these logistical, practical problems. Now we have these ADA accessible vans that can carry wheelchairs with the person who needs to travel with them wherever they need to go. And if they go to the new hub precinct sites, it's a seamless transition. I think those are the practical kind of interactions with the public that we're trying to improve. And in terms of outreach, I think that's what I mean when we talk about really trying to improve the training.
Sandy, did that answer your question? Joyce, you have a question? Because you're on mute.
Let me see. Yeah.
What's
Hello?
Yes, Sandy.
Yes, what? Did it-
Okay, I just want to elaborate on I'd like to elaborate on the training. Are the officers being trained presently?
Yep. Are you asking what kind of about the training, or?
I think the question is as at this time, is the officers, like even today or any time in the future, doesn't matter what time of day, but are they still going to get more training on the all types of disabilities? Because
Mostly right now, since you're with groups with developmental disabilities.
and
Okay, we have children, and one of the biggest problems we have is our children are adults but have cognitive ages of much younger than the age of 18. And many times they're with the parent, and some of your officers have made comments, not anymore, because in my precinct, because I gave them looks, and I explained, and I did talk to community affairs as well, the captain, that the child is not a baby, but if their comprehension is of a 9-year-old child, they'll say yes to anything, even if they were nowhere near the crime. So when we need for the police to understand that when parents or guardian or direct care professional is with these children or individuals, whether children or adults, there are reasons. And when we tell you they don't understand, we're not excusing. I know the law states that there's no excuse. If you commit a crime, you commit a crime. But if the person is of an age, even though their body is of adult, we still need you to understand, because we don't want our children manhandled. We don't want them hurt. And half of them cannot fit in the back of those patrol cars. I don't understand. When I was a child, the back of the patrol cars had a nice amount of room, but all of a sudden, ever since like 1997, it's like the back is so small and everybody gets a claustrophobic attack back there. Why do they do that too? This is some of the other issues we go through with our population.
See, it's specific issues like this that's why these sessions are great, because I can hear exactly what's going on. Like I never would have known that an issue like the back of the patrol car and the size of the patrol car would make a difference, especially when you describe it like that, where, you know, it can make someone claustrophobic, and depending on the situation, you know, that could really have an impact. And especially when you're trying to defuse a situation, that's only going to make it that much worse. In situations like that, there are other avenues that we can do. Like I said, we now have these vans, which much bigger room, but I really think it goes back to the original point of training and teaching officers how to identify a situation where they have the tools to de-escalate a situation like that, where there's a better way to approach it so that it doesn't turn into a situation where, you know, your child is feeling threatened, feeling claustrophobic, and that they can't, you know, escape a situation. And I think that's something that we really need to work on. But hearing this makes me realize that, yes, this is something that we need to address. But it's very much in line with the other efforts that we have going on in the same area.
Joyce, you were off mute. You went on and off mute. Did you have a question? Because your hand was popping up too.
Just a comment in terms of
Go ahead.
interactions with autistic adults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have many group homes that have many individuals with autism, and some of them present behaviors that are extremely challenging. And at times, we do need to call 911 to help the staff.
Okay.
And I think it would be helpful for the precincts to offer the training because sometimes, most of the time, I have to say the officers come, they're very helpful, and other times they can exacerbate the situation. And I understand, I see this all the time, but you know, they really need to be sensitive to what they're dealing with. So the training, I think, is very good. And, you know, you can certainly contact myself, or I can provide assistance in training, or some of my staff who are psychologists who can come in and also provide some of the training, because we deal with this on a day-to-day basis, you know?
We had been speaking with the quality services for the autism community.
Okay.
We are looking for ideas on how to address that specific issue. But if you can send me an email with your contact information, I'd be very much interested in seeing what other options we have as well as we build this.
Okay, great. I will do that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Matt, 1 second.
Michael?
This is Chris. I will make sure that Joyce, I'll send him his email to you. Let me just get this.
This is great information. Do we have more questions?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to look at right now, because we have Matthew, you have a question to come in, because it looks like you want to ask a question. Go ahead, Matthew. Matt?
Oh, yes. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Hi,
Hello.
Debbie. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
So CSID, or, you know, New York START, is another option of where our staff, or actually for Brooklyn, it's technically SUS that houses CSID. That's another service where the staff can actually work with the police officers and the precincts to, you know, basically to train the officers on how to work with our population.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the beginning part. I couldn't hear which population.
He's talking about New York START. That's
Yes,
another
New York
program.
START.
Okay.
But part of it is
Okay.
part of crisis intervention that Joyce partially did mention a little bit. But Matthew, continue what you're saying.
Yeah, I was just saying that it's another option of, you know, the NYPD, perhaps that we can, you know, be in a partnership with the New York START, or as they're known now as CSIDD, to train the officers.
Matthew,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
for Officer Michael, spell it out, your acronym, say it out. Why?
Okay.
Because Officer Michael, and I'm
Right.
sorry, anybody, he does not understand. I will give him, okay, Officer Michael, the START program, because I was on when they first started, is a very intense behavior program, which doesn't just look at the individual, it looks at also where they live, who they go with.
A wraparound services.
It's a major wraparound.
He just said.
It's now
Yeah.
each boroughs are broken up in with different groups, with different agencies. But you still have to go through OPWDD. I did speak yesterday to my director, Lucille Mezzi, she's my, well, she's the family, she's the supervisor on the family support, community services. I will email you her information. She would like to speak with you so she can help you get more information. Also, before I forget, Officer Michael, please check to see if when your new cadets are coming in, that they update everything on what's a developmental disability. Because when I first became the council president, they described it as, this was in 1996, they described it as mental health. Then I brought all the information into when it was being in Manhattan, and it did work. So if you can, just please check on that for this whole group. We'd be very happy. Thank you.
Carrie Banks, do you have a question you want to read? Carrie, you want to?
I do, Chris.
No, I'm trying to clarify what you're saying because some of the acronyms didn't come out correct.
Oh, okay. So I was
You can
wondering
say it.
if New York START was the program that worked with people with dual mental health and developmental disability diagnoses.
Yes, it does.
They do
That's
both.
what I
Yes.
thought. Okay,
But
good.
you have to have a developmental disability
Or
first under OPWDD.
Right,
This
I
is an
understand.
OPWDD program. You have to make sure it is known that way.
Right. And I did have another question, Chris, if it's my turn.
shoot, go
Go
ahead.
ahead, dear.
Yeah, your hand was up.
Right. Actually, it's more of a comment.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
My name's Carrie Banks. I work at the Brooklyn Public Library. I coordinate our services for children and teens with disabilities under a program called Inclusive Services. So I also represent children and teens with other types of disabilities. And I'm a little curious, like, for example, mental health issues, right? How the training that they're getting, also getting good, accurate training on dealing with mental health issues as distinct or separate from developmental disability issues. Also, things like sensory processing disorder that often go along with, say, autism spectrum diagnosis, and just other, types of things like that. Learning disabilities. We had someone coming to the library who had signed something at a police station and had no idea what they were signing because they had a learning disability and couldn't read it. So they brought a copy to me to ask to read it to them. And that also happens with some people with developmental disabilities. So I'm just wondering if it's a broader, how broad the training is, and is it addressing issues like that? Thank you.
No, it's good that you're bringing that up for a few reasons. One, to make people aware that we do have counseling services for mental health. So if an officer is going to a scene, they can call in. I believe it's called Safe Horizons. Safe Horizons counseling services that they can come and assist the officers. Along with that, like I said, every officer going through the academy does have training also in dealing with, and I said de-escalation services, dealing in issues with mental health or developmental disabilities. Excuse me.
No, that's correct.
Well, again, try to identify it because it really does. It becomes a severe issue. I taught escalation. I was a Navy officer. I taught escalation of force while I was in the Navy. So the biggest fear an officer has, obviously, is his self-protection immediately in the protection of those around him. And they may misinterpret someone with a developmental disability as trying to act out or not cooperating. That can be dangerous, I think, for the person with the mental health issue or the developmental disability, because clearly if the situation is read the way it could be read, that person wouldn't be deemed a threat and could be dealt with much, much differently. So I believe, it's not just an issue for that, it's an issue of safety, it's an issue of the health of the victim, of the person with the disability. And it really is something that I think can and should be addressed. But we do have that. We do have the safe horizon counselors, and again, we have the training. But again, we're always looking to improve the training. So if there are other services that you think we don't have that might be good for us, I'd be more than willing to take a look.
Carrie, anything to add in? Oh, that's that's good.
That's good. Actually, I did have one last,
Go ahead.
short clarifying question. Is it, in my experience, when ambulances are dispatched through 911, they also dispatch officers, NYPD officers? Is that standard practice?
That I can't speak to. I'm not an expert in that. I can tell you that but I do know that if an officer is called, there may be a concern about the safety of people arriving at the scene, or to calm the situation in general with, if it's like, again, a traffic situation, to clear out traffic, to clear out other members of the public so they can have access. There may be a lot of reasons why a police officer may be called to a scene.
Carrie, it's Joyce. Just to answer your question, we do find that common practice. You know, we have over 80 sites, 80 group homes, and invariably we need to call 911 for medical reasons. And a police car usually does come before or at the same time that they're there. So that is practice.
And can I?
Thanks so much, Joyce.
And can I Joyce, can I back you up on that? Because Carrie, when Mayor's Office of Disabilities, they actually do that because
They do the training with
them.
but also Carrie.
Yeah.
If there's times it's for medical procedures, or even when someone's very sick, and I knew someone who had an asthma attack in the middle of a concert. They couldn't get them out of the area of one ambulance, and the officers had to assist the EMS to get that person out, and then they were escorted because they had to make sure people wouldn't block them. The police many times come to assist the EMS to get them to the hospital fast.
So I hope that answered that question, Carrie. As a team play, Carrie.
Yeah. Yes, I'm good. Thanks, Chris. And
No.
Debbie, Joyce,
Yeah.
Michael. Thanks all.
Yes.
And Debbie.
She did say that. I know. Just kidding. Okay. I have to check the phone, people, because they're very quiet. And they have not raised their hand because sometimes they might have forgotten. Let me just check. Rosal, do you have
Even if you don't have a question, if you have a comment, if you have something that you wanted to pass on that I can bring back, please.
Just give me. Let me just check first. But I'm glad you said that. If anyone has any comments, do you want Officer? I'm saying Officer Michael because it's easy to say. Please.
Sorry, I'm not an officer. I'm the director of EEO, so they just.
Somebody told me you're a police officer.
Are you a police officer?
No, I'm a director.
That's even close. That's even close.
That'll make a lot of people more comfortable. But not because we don't like police, but some people are more comfortable talking to a non-police person.
Let me check the phone, because let me check. Helen Reyes, you are also on the phone, so you want me? I'm going to unmute you. Do you have a question for for Michael?
No. I'm grateful that he's here, though. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. So no complaints in your end. So that makes a good sign.
Yes.
Oh, Ellen, now your microphone's all of a sudden working now.
Yeah.
A miracle.
I know.
Yes.
A miracle. You must have fixed it or something. I didn't do anything. Okay. Rosal, do you have a question for Michael?
No question. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes,
we do.
Oh, yeah. No question. Thank you so much. This is valuable information, and similar to what Joyce was sharing. I have a lot of programs, residential program, and sometimes when we do have to call 911, it's really helpful to have a police officer that understands the population. So everything we talked about today is really helpful, and it seems like we are moving in the right direction. So thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Rose. Let me just check. Does anyone else have any questions for Michael? Or wants to put the comments in? You can do that at this moment, or okay. Joyce, you have any other last comments you want to add in, or Debbie?
No, just to say thank you very much for attending and this great information.
Yes.
And Michael, this
No,
is
but
Deb. I'm very happy that you were able to come tonight. I know how the NYPD keeps people very busy, but please keep working with us, and please, we will share information with you, and also if you can get the list of the precincts and the days when their precinct councils meet, as well as the NCOs, and forward that to us would be a big help.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so
And again,
much.
even after this call, I encourage people to please, call or email if you have a thought or if you have an idea or if you have resources that you think would be valuable to us, please pass them on. Again, we don't know what needs to be fixed unless people tell us. So please communicate.
And one thing, just to remind everyone, just make sure that you guys please attend the National Night Out Against Crime, which is August 3rd. That is one very important piece. We want to make sure everyone is reminding, because that's the way you get a chance to meet the NYPD officers. You get a chance to see other elected officials, which we do have 2 reps with us tonight. So we hope to, please make sure if you see them, make sure you get the information. Yes, there's going to be free food, free drink, free beverages, non-alcohol, but
Non-alcoholic
yeah.
drinks.
But we just want to make sure that everyone is getting that information out on that as well. Since no one else has any questions, I'd like to thank Michael.
Wait, somebody.
No, somebody's making up. Okay, if anyone's got to remind everyone. No. Okay, I want to thank Michael very much. Thank you for being here tonight in our night meeting as well. And please don't be a stranger. Hope we can see you come to our normal day, regular morning meetings, which we do start our meetings. Well, we will be announcing the date in a little bit, but we want to thank you so much for being here. Our meetings do meet more in the daytime. We do start at 10 a.m., God willing, but we will start again in the fall. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. Okay. All right, folks. Now, just want to let everyone know, I'm just moving on. Due to the fact that DDO Nelia was supposed to be on, she is not here, so we're going to skip to our. Actually, the fun part that everyone's going to love me is the chairperson's report. Joyce, are you ready for your report?
Yes, it's quick.
Yes, but guess what? But we're moving pretty good here.
Well, that's good. It's evening, and I know a lot of people probably want to get on with their evening, so it'll be
Yeah.
quick.
Mhm.
Just to report that mainly the agencies are having a very hard time attracting and hiring direct support professionals. The day programs are reopening, but some programs cannot reopen because they don't have staff. So we're encouraging anybody who might know anybody who would make a good DSP, please have them apply to the different agencies. Everybody's in the same boat. We're waiting on OPWDD to let us know how they're going to handle the FMAP money they receive from the feds. There will be bonuses for the direct care, direct support professionals. We don't know how much or how that will be distributed. Hopefully that information will come out soon because people are anxious. We know other states have distributed their money, but New York State has not yet. And we're just like on pins and needles waiting to see what happens. Any questions?
Anyone have any questions for Joyce on the DD Council end? Well, that was easy.
Yep.
Then I'll move on to Debbie with her chairperson's report as well as statewide. Go ahead.
Okay, good. Everybody, hello, I'm gonna make this quick. As you know, we have the statewide members with our chairperson, Margaret Puddington. We've been advocating to make sure that our elected officials, especially federal, pass and fund for our home care community-based waiver. So please, everybody, use any form of social media and ask our United States Senators Chuck Schumer and Jill LeBrand to please fund this. The information will be on the website, or you can also go to New York City Fairs. They have the information too. And also the ARC nationwide is advocating. We also need to have everybody update all the SSI rules and regulations that have been affecting our our children, so that they can, work eventually without worrying about they make more money than their parents, or they won't lose their Medicaid, which is, but that's what OPWD services are funded by. The advisory council, we are advocating very strongly. We are working very hard to make sure that, and we do tell OPWD that we need to do whatever we can to help get qualified direct care professionals to work with our individuals/children. And that we know that it's hard, it's a hard job, but we also told them they need to help us somehow so we can get the support. So we are trying to help the agencies. So we are also, I'm going to let Chris do a quick report
Actually,
on the
hold on.
outreach fest.
Well, hold on 1 second. Joyce, you're still there?
Yes, Chris.
Okay. This is for both of you guys, so we all agree on this. Due to the fact that we are meeting in July, we are not meeting in August, and we're not meeting in September, because September is supposed to be first day of school, B, Jewish holidays, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, all falls into September month. So our next joint, and Joyce, you agree with me on this one, the next joint meeting
Yes.
will be on Wednesday, October 27th.
Yes.
During the morning.
Yes, and we're back in the morning, so don't worry. This is just for today, but in one way, this was a good attendance. We did have a good amount. We still have that
Right.
on that. So I'm going to move on to my report, and then I'm just going to remind everyone, because I skipped the page, you can now put your announcements on the chat. Some of you already emailed me. Thank you. Some of you guys can put your announcements on the chat. I have very breaking good news. This relates to even HeartShare is going to love me next, as well as YAI. So as you know, we are celebrating, very important. I have a message from Victor Calisi. If I don't say this message, he will kill me, because he's going to make sure this video is, I know I got to send this video to him. He wants me to tell everyone that Monday is to celebrate the ADA 31. As you know, we have done there was a lot of celebration out there. Some of you may be just saying happy ADA 31 or whatever you guys want to do. But it's a nice day to celebrate in the month of July, as the official date is July 26th, which is coming up this Monday. So as you know, I'm going to do a little dance. One thing, and I know Roselle's with me on the phone line, I'm just going to remind everyone, the next Advisory Council update outreach, which is always mixing me up lately, will be next week, will be on July 29th, not the 28th. There is a change of the date due to ADA 31 events coming up. So the next one, this one will be July 29th, and it will be presenting on cuts on age.
Cutting age men and women. Our speaker is Man Ying Chan, and she has a new app that she wants to explain to everyone that will help our fellow
disabilities
and parents,
and seniors.
mom and dad or seniors,
Yeah.
like me, who need simple apps.
Yes. So I just want to remind everyone that. Now, this is from reminding everyone. MTA, which would be part of the system-wide accessibility, are looking for anyone who's interested to do the Omni card. This is also, I'm going to repeat, the reduced fare card, the new Omni card. We're asking everyone to please, if you're interested, please see this email right here at Omni reduced fare at nyct.com. We need to know that no later by this Friday, and you must have a reduced fare Metro card if you want to do an indoor training or by video. I'm going to remind you, if you do the indoor training, it will be at Stone Street, where the reduced fare Metro card main office is in Lower Manhattan. This is an opportunity, you guys, to try out the new card. So this is your chance if you want to. If not, don't worry. There are other people testing it. I'm one. Debbie's one. Because as I'm a member, I have to make sure that everything is tested as well. Now, I want to thank a lot of the agencies who did attend, but I do want to remind everyone that you still have a mission from now to 2023. We need everyone to please go onto our website to get the page 1 only. You don't need another picture. Please do not bug us with pictures. We ask you to please go for page 1 only for seniors or people with disabilities. You can fill it out. You can A, mail it, B, bring it to the reduced fare vehicles, or I'm going to say that those are the 2 easy ones to do. Do not try to email it, because that will give you guys a lot of headaches. You just need to make sure that your phone number, your email address, and I say email, it must be up to date. So please make sure that's up to date, including a phone number. You never know if someone may move. We need to make sure that information is up to date as well. Now, I am going to move on a little faster, so if you have a question, don't worry. And I'm just trying to remind
You
everyone.
can always email your questions to us
Yes.
if
And-
you're not sure.
Now, as already been mentioned already, National Night Out Against Crime, we knew that. Now, we remind everyone, some of you have been emailing me this, and I know 3 people are on tonight who have already been asking me this question. Please make sure if you do not want to show up to your voting site, you can still go on to the New York absentee.com/tracking. Once you go onto that, you can get a accessibility affidavit ballot that will come onto your email. You can put it on who you want to vote on the computer, print it out. They will send you in the mail an envelope, and you can bring it to your own polling site, whatever site you want to do it in, whatever borough you're in. If you want to bring it to the main office at 345 Adams, that is your choice. So please make sure that you're registered to vote, because a lot of people don't realize if you skip them a year or 2, that you're off the list. So please make sure you're doing that. And Ariel wishes a happy new year. Happy summer. Remind everyone, please, guys, the new address is 750 Vandalia Avenue. The advisory council number is still the same. It has not changed, as well as the front door. Please make sure you visit the website. The email does tell you when the meetings are and does have the code. So all of a sudden you will see that email popping a lot. So please make sure that you have that information. Now, I know we have 2 representative elected officials here with us. And I know that Sophia from State Senator Andrew Bernard. Yes, I can hear her.
Are you here?
I just heard her.
Hi, Sophie.
Sophie, you there? Okay. Jenny, I know you're there too, from Assemblywoman Matilda.
Do either of you have announcements, or you want us to know any upcoming programs from either State Senator Andrew Bernardis or Assemblywoman Matilda Frontes?
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Finally, stop raining here. Still in the office.
Working hard.
We still have the rent release program going on. If you know anybody that still needs to apply, send them down. We are on summer holidays. Unfortunately, we are not here on Fridays. But we are here. Thank you so much for all the things that you guys are doing.
Thank you, Jenny. Does anyone have any questions for Jenny? If not, Jenny, if anyone has a question, stand by.
We'll
Oh,
let
yeah, I'll
you know.
be here. I'll
Okay.
be here.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm just gonna. Now I don't know if Sophia's still with us. I know she was on the phone, and I'm thinking. I know I saw. Nope. Okay. Does anyone have any announcements they want to make for their services? Because you know, after now, we're not going to see you until October. So please raise your hands. And I know Dolores Khan, go ahead. Nice way we start in the alphabet world.
Ready, Doris?
Dolores, you're already off. You were off mute.
There-
Hi, good evening. I'm
evening.
Doris. I'm Doris Kahn, Outreach Coordinator for New York State Institute on Disability. I just want to say that New York State Institute on Disability does reimbursement for camp. Camps have to be DOH, that's the Department of Health certified. Parents who want reimbursement for camp should call Jackie Tribodi at 929, I wrote it in the chat, 929-202-1115, or you can email her at jtripodi@nicidinc.org, nicidinc.org. And you call her, she'll send you an application, and original receipts have to be attached to that application. We also provide free transportation for medical appointments and recreation activities. And someone just got transportation when she had to take her child to a camp bus for a sleepaway camp. So yes, we are providing transportation. For more information on that, you call John O'Grady at 917-747-9424, or you can email him at jogrady@nysidinc.org. I put both numbers and email addresses in the chat, and I just want to wish everybody to have a continued safe and healthy and good summer. And I look forward to seeing everybody after in October.
And Dolores, I do have that answer to your question to that. We had a parent that wanted me to say thank you because they actually enjoyed it. It was fun, and it actually gave them a chance, and they felt much safer in that company. So they're sending a massive thank you to you.
Okay,
No, it's me. Thank you means you're good.
thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Send my regards to everybody.
Carrie Banks.
Thank you, Chris.
Uh-huh.
Again, Carrie Banks from the Brooklyn Public Library's Inclusive Services. And I want to introduce you to Megan O'Rourke, who is also on this call for me. Megan is an intern with Inclusive Services, and she'll be with us through the end of September. And we have a couple of exciting events coming up in that time. The first is for two of them school-oriented. So we know that this transition from summer to back to school is going to be more fraught, more stressful than usual. Many of our kids have not been in school in person for a year and a half, and that's a long time in the life of a child. So we have a workshop about going back to school and dealing with that kind of stress. It's called what's it called? Sorry, lost the title. Anyway, it should be really good. Getting ready to go back to school. This year is different. We have a psychiatrist from Department of Psychiatry at Woodhull Medical Center. Ruth DeRoma will be, and he'll be there to talk about sort of emotional issues and how to navigate those. Ruth DeRoma from Include NYC will be there to help us navigate the system itself. We will have somebody from the Department of Education talking about what schools are doing on their end to support students. And Doris Strugatz, who is an art therapist, and she's going to be talking about communicating with our kids and helping them deal with anxiety through art. You don't have to be thinking high art here, just thinking like arts and crafts, collages, drawing, painting, whatever. Stuff that even I can do. So, so we're really excited about that. And the information's in the chat. That's on August, I'm sorry. Yeah, the information's in the chat. Yeah, August 5th at 4 p.m. So join us for that. We have our annual workshop on busing is following on the 19th, and some other things coming up. And finally, big news, our annual Children's Resource Fair will be happening in person this year, as always, on the plaza of the Grand Army Plaza Library. And that will be October 2nd this year. We're really looking forward to it. And Chris, we've got your table reserved, so you just tell me if you want it.
Yeah, we want to just make sure, but honestly, I'm going to tell you something honestly, if it's freezing that day, you got to put me somewhere warm.
Well, we're going to be outside, Debbie, and I can't control the weather, but it has been warmer than usual. So
Yes.
I will say that we are planning on having fewer vendors this year, fewer exhibitors, because we want to maintain social distancing. And of course, masks will be required.
How about face shields?
Face cover.
Welcome to wear face shields, but they're not required.
No, because only in case the individual, some children,
Might
if
wear
they don't see our mouths moving. So I have a face shield in case they need to see my mouth move.
Okay, well, we can talk about more about that later. Yeah, well, we can talk some more about that. Since we're outside, we might be able to do that. So that's what we have going on, and we're very excited about it. And libraries are reopened, by the way.
They are?
Yeah, they are. 5 days a week. We are not at full, 6 days in some branches. We are not at full hours yet, and we are not doing in-person indoor programming yet. But there's still a lot going on virtually at the libraries. And there's a fair amount of outdoor programming going on too, including gardening at the Red Hook branch at 4:30 on Mondays.
Carrie, question.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can patrons go in and use the computers
Yes.
or not? They
They
can?
can. Yes. We have fewer computers available because we're maintaining social distancing, but yes, patrons can go in and use computers and laptops.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, thank you.
Good
Welcome.
to
Thanks.
to know, Carrie. And by the way, happy summer.
Happy summer. It's certainly
Happy
here with you then.
summer.
Yes, and let me get to Sandy. You're next.
Thank you again, Carrie.
Thank you, Carrie. Sandy.
Sandy Napier.
Oh, here I am.
Here
Here
you
I am.
are.
Sandy, don't let me get
I'm
the signal.
back.
Why you have the Golden Gate Bridge?
Okay, I'm here.
Yes, that's okay. It's foggy. Go ahead, Sandy, but you're breaking
I
up
have
a
to
little.
get rid of it somehow.
You have to fix-
Okay, can you hear me now, I hope?
Yeah.
Yes.
And we can see your
Yes.
face now too.
Which is wonderful.
Wow, I should take my glasses off.
Go
It's
ahead.
okay.
Anyway, my name is Sandy Napier. I'm with ADAPT Community Network, and we're having a free workshop. And we're also going to be talking about anxieties that children may have entering the new school year. They're going to be meeting new teachers, new staff, new routines, and they'll also have to cope with the COVID protocol. So a very good pediatric occupational therapist and author, Lindsay Beal, will be doing the presentation. It's going to be on this Tuesday, July 27th, from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And if you're interested in registering, please email familyconnect@adaptcommunitynetwork.org or call us at 718-436-7979, extension 704. Everybody enjoy your summer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy.
Sandy, can you put that in the chat? The email?
It's in the chat. Yes, it's there. It's in the chat.
I got it. Hold on. Carrie, give me 1 second. You let me I get it. Okay. For everyone who needs Sandy's
Carrie,
information,
did you find it?
I found it. Yeah, because I just copied and pasted. Carrie, you got it now. And just to remind everyone, please recheck your chats because that's where the announcements are. And you can always click on those. There's a special button you can save that chat. So each announcement that you have, you can share that information. Let me check. Does anyone else have any announcements they want to add? Because I know Miss Jenny put her information on. If anyone has any questions for Assemblywoman Matilda's office, Jenny just put her information there. Okay. Okay, Nick, go ahead.
Hello. Nick LaBruna here from Partners Health Plan. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Good. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm one of the outreach associates with PHP, and we are a insurance company for people with intellectual disabilities that have Medicare, Medicaid, and live in our coverage area, which is Long Island, New York City, and Westchester and Rockland counties. And we are now having much more regular information sessions for people interested in learning more about our plan. I'll put the link to our website at phpcares.org in the chat. And, people, want to know more about what we have to offer as far as preventative care. One thing I can say is because of our efforts with the vaccine rollout, we do have had over 85% of our members are fully vaccinated with the COVID vaccine. So, we really focused in on prevention and long-term healthcare plans. And I'll put a little more information in the chat. I could be reached at 646-771-3184. If anyone has any questions, feel free to call me. Does anyone have any questions now?
I guess not, Nick, but I do have a question for you. Any new changes since we last heard from you? Any new office location still the same, but all the staffs are okay?
Yeah.
Say hi to everybody.
Yeah, tell the mysterious, oh my God, I forgot her name now.
Ann Rose.
Ann Rose. Yeah, see how I forgot her name already. Tell her that we send her regards.
Yeah.
Will do.
Yes.
All right.
But thank you, Nick, for that information.
We
And
appreciate very much, Nick. Thank you. And if you have any new updates, please email us, okay? So we can put it on the website immediately. Thank you.
well, by Friday, yes.
Or by Friday, but that's immediate.
Let me just go to our phone people because we do have the phone. Rose, Sal, do you have an announcement? Because I know some people may have forgotten to press *9 if you're on the phone. Rose, do you have an announcement? I'm unmuting you. Oh, that was weird. Rose, do you have an announcement?
Sorry, no, Chris. No
Thank you.
announcement.
I'm just making sure, because I don't want to say, oh, you left me out. No. Okay. Huh? Okay, since no one else has an announcement, I am just going to do our last reminder to everyone. As a reminder to everyone, any announcements, trainings, or events that are coming up, please email me no later than this Friday so I can add it into the weekend. So therefore, by Monday, it's up to date on the website. The website's been doing well. We want to remind everyone that it does keep updating. So please, everyone, please make sure that you visit the website and get all the information, and remind you that the next advisory council update outreach, or whatever way it goes, it will be on, the new date will be on July 29th. So hope to see everyone there. And remind everyone, our next joint meeting is not until October. So we want to wish everyone a happy summer, especially happy Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. If I say every holiday, it'll be here until next year. So
Everybody celebrates the New Year. Happy
New
New Year.
Year's.
Also,
Yes.
and for every.
But number one thing I'm going to say, and I think Joyce will agree with me, on both councils, we want to wish everyone a happy ADA 31. So to both, because it's a very, a special day on Monday. Please make sure you celebrate it, or whatever way you do it. But ADA 31 is a special day. So just want to remind everyone. But as I said again, on behalf of both councils, Deborah, Joyce, we want to say happy summer.
Happy summer.
And meeting adjourned. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Happy
Good night,
summer.
everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Happy summer.
Happy
Thank you.